The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Greetings, Earthlings, and alert the media. The banger is on the microphone. Before we get started, I'd like to welcome our new affiliate, Good Talk Radio, out there in Oregon. That's right, we've taken on another station. We've now taken over the West Coast. That's right, we're in Washington, we're in Oregon, and we're all over California. So as you can see, the John Lebang Show is growing by leaps and bounds. And it hasn't stopped, of course. Now with that quickness out of the way, we've got so much to talk about. We're going to skip past the normal little intro here and where I discuss what might have happened for the week and get right into the news. We've got a follow-up on last week's big observatory closure by the FBI. It had all those, people speculating that maybe there were aliens up there and they were trying to hide something. Even the John Lebang Show said they shut it down probably because they just didn't want you to see something. Well, even though that was fairly vague, guess what? It was kind of right. They didn't want somebody seeing something. That's right. Federal search warrants reveal that the Sunspot Solar Observatory was shut down by the FBI. Why? Because they conducted forensic computer searches for child pornography. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't want somebody to see something. Most of you were speculating out there that they were shutting it down because the aliens were coming. I thought it was more government based, where they were just trying to hide something that was going on up there because they were testing out something. But lo and behold, it was about a janitor who was tying into their wireless modem there and downloading child pornography. So that's what the investigation figured out, that some janitor was doing some sicko stuff. They shut down the entire observatory just so they can get into a hard drive of a computer, get into his personal devices. Guess what? The guy's not even, he's not even facing anything. No. Child porn, he probably said, I didn't know it was child porn. I was spanking it to it. I was doing all those weird things you do when you're a weirdo and you watch child porn, but, it wasn't on purpose. It just happened. It popped up. Probably, just popped up there, and I was like, oh, well, porn, I guess I watch that at home anyways, so I'll watch this. Ridiculous. So that's it. All of you out there who were speculating it was aliens or who was hoping it was E.T. going to reveal themselves to us, well, it's a bad day for you. Another just misstep, another unfortunate coincidence that leaves you hanging, all of you in the ufology movement there. So that was that news. We have related space news, I suppose. It's not related to that story, but since we're talking about a observatory, in a British-led experiment, a big net was cast out there in space from a mini satellite, and it was sent up there to, catch space junk. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. There's so much junk up there. There's so much stuff from rockets and broken satellites and whatever else might be floating around up there, that they now have to figure out how to remove the garbage. Because that's what, humans do that. We make lots and lots of garbage. And now space isn't void of the effects of human garbage making. So now we're creating different little gadgets and tools to pick up that space junk, then bring it back to the station. I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to recycle it, if they're going to, I don't know, maybe they get 10 cents for every aluminum piece on there, send it back to Earth. We could probably use some more metal down here. But it's amazing that when you think about how many satellites are out there, how many little pieces of debris from all the rocket launches that sent the satellites up there. Because if there were, let's say there's 1,000 satellites, which there's probably many, many, many more. I don't have the number. I don't even want to speculate. But if there were 1,000 satellites up there, then you would imagine that there were that many rocket launches to launch those satellites into space. So there's a lot of junk up there. And we got to clean that up because we're going to have the moon. What's that? SpaceX is going to go out there and fly people around the moon, so they can't be driving into space junk. So we got to clean that up. And then we got to clean it up because we're going to put the space hotel that we talked about last week. We're going to have that space hotel, and you can't have junk floating by the hotel. I mean, that's not nice. They make hotels cut their lawn. Maybe there should be like a tax, like a space tax, for even putting a hotel up there or being able to utilize space for tourism, because that's what SpaceX is doing, in a manner of speaking. They're letting somebody buy their way onto their, moon. I don't even what are they calling that? I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But they're taking a moon mission. They're gonna have some normal person fly. Well, I mean, if it was so expensive to be the person on this space moon flight, that I shouldn't say normal person, because a normal person doesn't have the money to put towards that. I mean, I think it was 6 or 7 digits. It's running into the hundreds of thousands or millions to be the person who gets to have the little first tourism trip with Mr. SpaceX over there, Elon Musk's moon space project. I don't know what he calls it. So the average person who doesn't even make 5 figures, that's about it. They make 5 figures, and it's usually in the 20 or 30,000 range versus 90,000 range. They're never going to get a chance to go around the moon. I think we talked about that earlier in the month when we came back. The average person's not going to have a chance to have this Star Trek future that they are promoting. You go out in space. I mean, can you imagine? It's already expensive enough to go to the Bahamas or to take a cruise. You're spending a couple grand there, and that's like, for a lot of people, that's a good, 5% of their entire income for the year they spend on a trip just to get away, because they slave us to death and all these other jobs that that pay us. I mean, we might as well get into that one day here. I mean, what they're paying us today, but we won't diverge. We better slow down. Better get back to what we were talking about. So all the space junk that's up there, they got to clean that up. They're saying it's a problem, because some of this might bump into the International Space Station and bump into other satellites and blah, 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 blah. Okay, that may be a problem. We're worried about the space station. But you don't think that now that we're on the verge of having tours in space and space hotels, that isn't being a factor in the whole thing? Of course it is. You can't have hotels floating around in space and watching space junk float right by the tourists' windows. I mean, your guest wouldn't be too happy. Why do I see debris floating by it's just hanging out by my window?
Yeah, it might be alien debris, we might be able to see E.T. come to the planet, and this is a good place to watch, and there's a damn debris in my view, and it pisses me off. Can you get that debris out of the way? Because if E.T. shows up, I want to see it.
Especially about the space thing, I really, really want the Star Trek future. I'm a big fan of that idea. But then I'm watching the steps we're taking to supposedly get there, and I'm like, we're not going to make it. The average person's just not going to make that. And it's too bad. Because there's some really cool things out there that a lot of us would like to see. And the only ones that are going to see it are the governments and the elite. At least for a couple hundred years. Because we're not going to have how much money is it going to take, even in 70, 80 years when they've made it cheaper? Hopefully. I like how they say that it makes it cheaper the longer something's around, except with inflation and everything. That's never cheaper. It's always more expensive. Bills, you sit there and you look at gas and it goes up and down, but it's never going to get back to when I was young. And that's because of inflation. And just one last thing, because we got a few more minutes to knock out here before we get to our first break. One more thing about the space thing. There's been a lot of money missing from the government, and these exorbitant budgets that they have, and we just heard a complaint from President Trump about the next budget that's just out of hand again. I mean, those Republicans, those Republicans, they're so conscious about that damn budget. Whatever. We had $2 trillion, $3 trillion. I forgot what it was. It was 2-point-some trillion dollars missing right before the 9/11 event happened. That money's never been accounted for. It's just gone, disappeared, poof, into the solar system, into the atmosphere, out into space somewhere. It's probably by now that money has floated all the way into the next solar system, maybe out and fell into a black hole, zipped around into a different universe. Maybe Dr. Strange can find that money. Dr. Strange, are you listening? Can you find that $2 trillion that supposedly the Defense Department lost? And it was reported on by Donald Rumsfeld just a day before the 9/11 event happened? Because it's gone. It's been gone. All that gold under the Twin Towers, that's gone. That disappeared too. Man, there was a lot of money that just disappeared really quick. Poof, gone. Save up that money, folks. Save up that money, and maybe you can have a trip. If you spend every dime you ever make, maybe you can have a trip up to space to float in a hotel to look at the Earth, or maybe you can give Elon Musk some money in that SpaceX moon exploration trip that he's planning can be yours if the price is right. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. Got more on the flip side of this. We're going to discuss the Kavanaugh situation. There's a lot to talk about there. We're also, as the show progresses, we're going to give ladies some advice on to prevent sexual assault. And we're also going to talk about the coup in the government, illegal immigration, and a lot of other things. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Don't go anywhere now.
John will be right back right after this.
Yes, it will. Check out the new book from Derek Shelmerdine,
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It tells the story of rock and roll from its roots right up until the mid-'70s punk.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Not just the music, but also the events that shaped the music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It includes the backgrounds to recording sessions, singles, album releases, births and deaths, epic concerts, and festivals.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Shelmerdine has made a painstaking effort to document pretty much every event that would prove significant in shaping popular music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Purchase the book at www.rockandrollunraveled.com. Follow them at Twitter at R&R Unraveled, and look them up on Facebook at Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
By author Derek Shelmerdine.
Available now.
Mr. President, I've got those top secret documents you wanted.
Oh, just shove them under the door.
Here you go, Mr. President.
Now let's see. What do I got here? UFOs in Roswell. Ah, what a bunch of crap. I guess I'll use this for TP.
Whatever you want, Mr. President.
Big terrorist guy. Name Abu. Where's he from? Let's see. Iraq and Syria. Oh, look at that. He's in here illegally. Better find this guy. Put that over here. Let's see what's next. Oh, I got a tweet about this one. Hey, everyone. Big D here. You won't believe it. Reading top secret documents on fake news. Hashtag it's huge. Alright, I better keep that one too. Now what's next?
We have the documents on 9/11, sir.
Oh, let me see him. 9/11 was an inside job. I told everyone. Let's read it. Oh, it's all redacted. Oh, I better tweet this too. Hey everyone, looking at the 9/11 documents. You won't believe it. I can't tell you, but it's huge. Alright, I better keep that one. Alright, what's next, Ditzy?
Here's the Russian document, sir.
Don't give it to me. I don't want to know. Take it back.
What would you like me to do with it, Mr. President?
Burn it.
Whatever you say, Mr. President.
Is there anything else I should know?
Here's the assessment on the hurricane damage.
Oh, that's important. Let me look. What does this word mean?
Which word, Mr. President?
FEMA. Now, could you give me some privacy?
Whatever you want, Mr. President.
Hey man, you're listening to the John LeBang Show, man.
The place where chronic brain cell rejuvenation happens.
Feel like you're getting any smarter yet?
I really avoided Mr. Kavanaugh and the whole Supreme Court nomination process. We haven't spoken about it here on the show, at least not much anyways. It's really, I looked at the guy like Roberts. He's going to be one of those kind of guys, and I thought, well, that's really on Trump. He told us what kind of guys he was going to pick when he was running for president, and this guy, Kavanaugh, seems to fall in line with the promises old DT has made there. Again, he's following through with the promises, not all of them, but, we were thinking when he got elected that we'd be lucky to get 10 or 15% of what promises that Trump made. Well, he's probably already fulfilled 15 or maybe even 20% of the promises. And the people who disagree with Trump, and you're going to get mad at me because I sound like I'm being positive about what he has accomplished while he has been in office. I don't agree with all of what Trump has done, but I'm not going to bash the guy for following through on his promises because that's why he was elected. You people who didn't like him in the first place were never going to like him, going to hate him for everything he did. Well, you're not going to be happy with any of this. And any reasonable person would just sit down and look what he promised and write down, well, has he come through with that? And then make your check box. And he's knocked out 15 or 20% easily. That being said, we're talking about Kavanaugh, and I haven't, like I said earlier, I haven't given it much thought. That was one of those things that I thought I didn't need to fight over. There are going to be plenty of people discussing this guy, and from what I had read on my own, I thought the guy was okay. I mean, he wasn't outstanding. I'd rather have Judge Napolitano there. But, you beggars can't be choosers. This is Trump's choice. Fine. He'll go through the process. He should already be confirmed as the next guy because he seems like at least overall an outright decent dude. Until this lady, this Ford lady, comes out of nowhere with, Feinstein. She's been holding this information for months now. I just love these tactics that you can't beat your opposition's pick because he's too good. He fits the bill. He's qualified to do the job. So you run out a woman who claims that 30-some years ago, almost 40 years ago, Kavanaugh was at a party, she was at a party, and Kavanaugh dry humped her. Just amazing. Why she didn't come out earlier? It's not like we didn't know that Kavanaugh was the next nomination for the Supreme Court. We knew that. It just didn't happen. But at the last minute, when he's just about ready to be confirmed, they pull this tactic. She says when she was, 15 at the time, why she's 15 and at a party, I don't know. Where the parents, she's supposedly from some all-girls school. Where is the supervisors for this to allow this sort of thing? But hey, I know if it were me and I had a 15-year-old daughter, there's no chance that she would be at a party ever. No. You don't get parties. Sorry, you're too young. Social events of that caliber are not an appropriate place for a young lady, a young girl. But whatever, her parents let her, or the school allowed her to go to this. And apparently, some kind of interaction between her and Kavanaugh happened. She claims he dry humped them. There's somebody else in the room, although that other person or the other people that were there either deny that they were there or they don't recall the events. Probably because they're men and they're just evil, but I digress. No files were charged way back when. No files that, they didn't file anything with the police department, anything with the FBI. This is 1982, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing. I still can't get over that a 15-year-old in the 80s, this is not now, which the parents don't care what happens to their kid. They allow their stupid kids to be as social as possible. But in the 1980s, the country was a little bit more conservative when it came to their 15-year-old daughters going to parties and stuff. I couldn't even go to a concert, ladies and gentlemen, at 15. My mom wouldn't let me. Which hardly anything different than a party, except you're in a much larger public event. But, I digress again. Now, this lawyer, I love it. They are, because they want to testify, they want to have Kavanaugh testify, and they want to have the Ford lady testify in front of Congress. She's delaying. She's coming up with a list of reasons. This is unheard of. I mean, this is a new low for the left, in my opinion, but I've never heard of people being brought before Congress and then them telling Congress what, where, and when, how things are going to happen. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know everything, but wow. I've never heard of that before. Congress tells you, hey, come on up to Congress. You pretty much have to go, right? You have to go. And you don't get to pick and choose how things go. But hey, in this case, because Ms. Ford here, 30-some years ago, way back in 1982, she claims that something happened between Kavanaugh, and she has the right to now make these demands of Congress if she's going to testify in front of them. I mean, here's the list of demands. This is great. 1, she wants to testify second and have Kavanaugh testify first. She doesn't want to be in the same room at the same time with him. Doesn't want to be. So here, I mean, that's against all the justice and the history of justice in this country. You get to face your accuser. But not in this case. Nope. She doesn't want Kavanaugh in the room at the same time, and she wants to testify after him. I wonder why. Maybe she can then modify her story? This is me speculating, of course. This is me speculating because I don't want to put words in her mouth. Because everybody's so touchy about this subject. Nobody out there that I'm hearing is saying anything harsh about this lady because it was some kind of sexual assault all those years ago. But it was never reported. But whatever. Probably going to get hate mail for how I'm portraying this whole situation. So she doesn't want to be in the same room with the guy. She wants him to testify first so she can then rebuke him, not him rebuke her. Of course not. Because if she tells a bold-faced lie, he can't defend it if he already had his say. Right? Exactly. Exactly. Also, she prefers not to be questioned outside counsel, but rather by senators on the committee. So she doesn't want Kavanaugh's lawyers or any lawyers on the outside to really dig into this. Right. But whatever, the senators on the committee, who some should be lawyers, because lawyers like to go into government. She wants to speak directly to them. Okay, so that's the next one. She would like the committee to subpoena Mark Judge, the other student Ford alleges to be in the room at the time of the assault, to testify. Can he make conditions on his testification too? Can he make conditions too? Okay, really? Okay, I'll pick a date. If I'm Mark Judge, okay. All right, subpoena me, fine. I'll come in when I want. The rules have got to be this way. I mean, she's setting precedent. She says that each senator should have equal time questioning. Obviously, she has never, ever watched a congressional hearing before, because that's exactly... this lady's supposed to be some kind of educator or something. But that's exactly what the people on a congressional committee do. They have a limited time to ask their questions and have them answered.
Are you stupid or something? What the
But apparently Mrs. Ford, isn't aware of that. She's so intelligent. She's an educator too, folks, so we have to wonder what's going on there, that she doesn't know that simple truth. But whatever. She wants no time limit on her opening statement, so she wants to filibuster if she feels it is necessary. After the fact, Kavanaugh speaks, she can come in and in her opening statement filibuster, make whatever claim she wants to. And Congress has to oblige by this if she's going to be part of it, right? Apparently, Congress on Friday sent a counter proposal, but I'm only discussing what she wants in the beginning here, because by the time some of you are hearing this will have already happened, because it's supposed to happen on the Monday right after this coming Monday from when we originally broadcast this show. So what else does she want? Oh, she will appear at a public hearing, but she would like to limit the number of cameras. In other words, she wants to pick and choose which news stations are going to cover it. Fox News, I'm sure, is not going to be allowed to be there. Alex Jones, all those other people that she might deem, not reputable news sources, they're not allowed to have their cameras there. That way, CNN, MSNBC, and edit the comments in such a way as to, make things look great for Miss Ford there, and bad for Kavanaugh. Now, Ford has accused Kavanaugh of sexual assault at a party in high school in 1982. No charges were ever filed, but whatever. When Kavanaugh attended the elite all-boys Georgetown preparatory school outside of Washington, D.C. Ford detailed in an account to the Washington Post that she was 15 at the time and attended an all-girls school, Holton Arms. So at 15 years old, like I said before, she attended a party. Kavanaugh was at an all-boys party, and they all got together. And what do you think boys and girls want to do when they get together? We'll get to that a little later, folks. I'm sure she took a shower and made herself look pretty to go to this party, but whatever, She's claiming a sexual assault happened 30-plus years ago, never filed any report with any police department, any FBI agency, department, nothing. And now that the guy is about to be confirmed as a U.S. Supreme Court justice, she wants to tell her story, her way, under her conditions, to Congress. You go ahead and make your own decisions on that one. We've got to take a quick break, folks. When we return, we're going to talk about ways women, because I guess it's a big, huge problem. That's why there's a Me Too movement. How women can protect themselves from sexual assault.
Don't move a muscle. John Lebang Show. Right back.
With lots of fun and excitement. Yes!
Pane in the Glass, commercial and residential window cleaning. For a beautiful, sparkling shine that's crystal clear. Call Pane in the Glass Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane in the Glass.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
If you want to contact the John Lebang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John Lebang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John Lebang Show. Now here's John.
All right, now in our efforts to better humanity and help our lady friends out, we're here to give you the top 10 things to prevent female sexual assault. Some of these things may be controversial. Some of these things you out there may not like or want to do. But if you follow these 10 rules, the chance of any woman being sexually assaulted goes way down. Can't say it will be eliminated. Not all circumstances work out, even if you do all these things. But we can reduce them. And that should be the first goal, is to make sure less of these things happen, because we don't want our ladies being sexually assaulted by weirdos. We don't want that. We love our ladies here on the John Lebang Show. We have a lot of problems with the ladies out there. But in a perfect world, the John Lebang Show loves women. Listen to Shady. He'll tell you how much he loves women. We love women here on the John Lebang Show. But we're very critical of them because we feel a lot of the things that are happening and a lot of the claims women are making are very preventable if you do these 10 steps. First and foremost, number 1, don't go to parties, ladies. You want to cut down on female sexual assault, don't go to parties. Stay home, do something else, hang out with the family. If you do go to these parties, don't do any drugs or get drunk. Stay sober. I know it's fun to go out there and have a few drinks and party, but if you're inebriated, if you're buzzing really hard, it's a heck of a lot easier for someone to take advantage of you because you're not coherent and you're not, at your best Number 3, when you go to these parties, stop being so flirty with all the people there, especially the men. Give them the cold shoulder. Don't let them approach you. Don't talk to men. Don't be flirty at all. It's unrealistic. Women are definitely more sociable than men are. And they want to go to parties and they want to be with lots of people and they want to go out there and have fun and have drinks. And they like being flirty. But if we want to cut down on sexual assault, I'm telling you, this list is the quickest way to get to that objective. Dress modestly. Stop showing off your bodies. Don't show cleavage. Don't wear the tight dresses that show off all your curves. Then you won't have guys trying to look under your skirts when you're not looking. Again, I don't think any of these rules will be applied by the vast majority of women, but I'm telling you, this will work. This will cut down. I'm not saying eliminate, but cut down on the number of sexual assaults to women. Number 5, don't be sluts. In general, don't go out there and flaunt yourself. Trying to pick up dozens of men, getting around, let's say. Don't be that way. I don't care if we've had a sexual revolution for women. That is actually added to the problem of female sexual assault. Because women flaunt themselves now. They're more open to having sexual relationships. And a lot of times in these cases, they get involved sexually with some guy, and then after the fact, it's like, oh, I don't like how you're doing it, please stop. It's like, well, don't get involved. Don't become a slut, and there's a less chance of you being sexually assaulted because you're not dancing around, you're not playing the carousel, the Schmeckel carousel. If you're not playing the Schmeckel carousel, there's less chance of one of those guys being a complete perv and predator. Next on the list, don't be alone in a room with anybody. Just don't do it. Even in a room of 2 or 3 or 4, especially if they're mostly people of the other sex. Don't put yourself in that position. Don't go hang out in a 2 or 3 person house or one-on-one with a person you don't know or you're not familiar with. Our next one on the list, bring your brother or a male family member with you everywhere. If you go to a party, bring your brother, bring a male family member with you. And chances are, if they're there, you're not going to end up alone in a room with some weirdo. Next one. I know women aren't going to want to do this, but this is going to cut down on sexual assault because it won't allow it to happen. Put on a chastity belt. Ooh, I'm sure people don't like that. But that'll cut down on any kind of penetration. If they can't get that off, what's the point? They're going to give up. They're going to give up. I know women won't adhere to these rules. I understand that. But I'm trying to, from a male perspective, because I'm trying to save the men, too, in all this. Because there's a lot of men out there that are being falsely accused of things, that are having their lives destroyed because of something that happened over here and the woman had changed her mind or she didn't like it or she decided she didn't like him anymore and she wanted to take it out on him and she claims a sexual assault. Because there's problems with that as well. False claims. Next on the list, carry a gun or a weapon. Carry it with you and don't let it off out of your sight. Get a concealed weapons carry permit. And if anybody gets too close, you pop them one. Pow! And then tell the cop he's trying to rape you. Guaranteed you're not going to jail. Guaranteed. If the guy was trying to rape you and you kill him dead, the cop they're not going to throw you in jail. I mean, we are in a women protectionist society. We give women all the advantages they need to succeed, and anything anytime anything happens to them, we rush to their aid and we defend them, and we are harsh on the people that destroy them or injure them or hurt them. And last on the list, this is, if all else fails, get yourself to a self-defense class and learn self-defense. Karate, jiu-jitsu, mixed martial arts, boxing. Learn some kind of self-defense. So that if all else fails, if you decided to go to a party and get drunk and be flirty and dress with your boobs hanging out, and you wanted to be a slut, and you wanted to be alone with some dude, and you didn't want to wear a chastity belt, and you didn't want to bring your brother or cousin, and you forgot to bring your gun, you can still whip the dude's butt by being a badass, by knowing, how to defend yourself. And there are classes all over. If you can't afford a class, I am sure there are free programs that the government provides somewhere that will teach women how to defend themselves against sexual predators and predators in general. And you should be able to know some form of self-defense anyways. Not just for sexual assault, but for other reasons. People breaking into your house. Maybe somebody tries to jump you and rob you in public. We've seen that in New York. Maybe at a party store, if you're a clerk and somebody tries to rob you, you can defend yourself. Now, I don't know what you guys thought of this list. Please let me know in the comment section or the chat room. Send me an email at jlebang@live.com. Let me know what you think of this list. Please add on anything else that you think would improve this list, but keep the theme of the list, which is women. This is the end of it right here, ladies and gentlemen. Women in the end need to be more responsible with themselves to protect themselves from sexual predators, because the predators are going to be there. They're not going away. And if you allow yourself to be put in the position where a sexual predator can take advantage of you, then it's bad on you too. Because no matter how many laws there are, because no matter how much law enforcement tries to prevent these things, they will happen. Because there is always somebody that doesn't follow the law, and there is always somebody so sick in the mind that they will do the most dastardly and disgusting things to people. Because they don't care about freedom, they don't care about the other person, they are only cared about their self-enjoyment. So ladies, gentlemen, let me know what you think of my list. We got to take a quick break. We're going to go a little early this time around. And when we come back, we're going to discuss some other last-minute things, mostly about the coup we've been talking about in the government, and maybe some immigration if we can fit it in this hour of the John LeBang Show. Stay tuned. Smoke them if you got them.
Because the John LeBang Show will be right back.
After this.
That's guaranteed. Yes.
Quality One Painting. For interior and exterior painting needs, call Tom at Quality One, 313-982-2986. Tom will give you free estimates, senior discounts, and I can tell you from meeting the gentleman, he's one of the nicest guys on the face of the planet. So for a quality paint job with a professional attitude, call Tom at Quality One Painting. That's 313-982-2986. 313-982-2986. Quality One Painting.
And it makes you want to hide in the closet. If you choose to play with boys and they hate you for your toys, then destroy him. Yes, yes. Rainbow Pride. Rainbow Pride.
Oh, I told you that would be easy.
Let us be quick before the authorities arrive.
Oh, you always want to be quick, and that's not always fun. Okay, let's see. I love the shampoo.
Don't forget to pick up the deodorant.
Oh, what's this? Oh, Darth, look, applesauce made a new gadget.
We do not have time for this.
Oh, you never change. I think I'm gonna add this to my collection.
Do we need toilet paper?
Oh, better grab 2 packs. It's been bad lately.
Put that down.
Oh, who are you?
Oh, I'm called Tranzsister.
Oh, you're one of those. I hate to tell you this, but that wig is awful.
Breaking news. Government sources inside the White House have leaked unsubstantiated reports to the media. We now go to our Washington correspondent, Wilbert Hillbilly, for the latest.
I'm standing on the lawn just outside the grounds of the White House, and we're waiting to see what, if any, documents are released.
Do we know what's in these documents?
Not as of yet, but I reckon a tweet's coming at any moment. This is my neighborhood. You're trespassing.
And what'd you say your name was?
I'm called the Tranzsister.
Oh, that's a stupid name. Anyways, I'm Captain Rainbow, and this is my friend Darth. We just stopped by here to pick up a few things.
I said you're trespassing.
Whatever. I can do whatever I want. Listen, it was nice to meet you, but we gotta hurry up. We got other things to do.
I said you're trespassing, and I've come to collect.
Well, you're not my type. Darth, you wanna have a crack at it?
Captain, there's no time for this.
See, he doesn't want to either. I don't want to be rude, but you're not either one of our types.
I said you are going to have to pay.
And I said you're not our type.
I have everything, Captain. Let's make our haste.
Well, we gotta go now. Bye.
I warn you.
Ow! Now that's just insensitive. Come on, Darth. Captain Rainbow, away!
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Join the radio revolution right here.
It's better than some good Thai stick, man.
Yes, I would like some too.
All right, on the government and media coup that is so apparent that if you don't see it by now, ladies and gentlemen, you're either part of the problem or you are just oblivious to everything that is important in this world. Get this headline. FBI memos detail partisan axes secret conflicts behind the Russian election meddling assessment. You know what that means, folks? That means that there were people inside the government, we already knew this, but there were people inside the government pushing a certain narrative when it came to Russian meddling. Didn't mean it was true. They were just pushing the narrative. Let me read from a story. Congressional investigators have unearthed text messages and emails showing that the FBI feared there was some in the intelligence community with partisan access to grind, and suggest there could be no singular conclusion that Moscow wanted to help elect Donald Trump. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Now, I wonder, there was some guy on the radio way back March, maybe even back before that into December, telling you that exact thing. And now it's coming out in the news media. Nobody gives that guy credit for it. I can't think of who that guy was. Yeah, I just remember he has his long hair. He has a goatee. I forgot the guy's name. Let me continue. On December 10th, 2016, the FBI received an inquiry from a reporter about whether the FBI was uncertain about the emerging collusion that Russia was trying to help Trump win. Strzok, you remember that guy. That's the guy with the text messages with the page, and they were going back and forth how they wanted to stop Trump. We talked about that. We talked about that way back some months ago. Get this. Strzok weighed in to help the FBI press office address a reporter's questioning on that very subject. An email that had now captured congressional investigators Because they saw it. Their fancy was lit up there. Oh, what's this? Because it stated clearly that the FBI couldn't distinguish that any one of the three possible motives drove Russia's meddling. Quote, the specific point I made, this is from Strzok, by the way, we didn't have information to differentiate what the ultimate goal was. Strzok added this. James Comey told the Senate intelligence something similar. That's right. Even James Comey admits to Senate intelligence that they don't really know what the motives were behind the supposed Russian hackers. Didn't look like they were trying to help Clinton or Trump in general. He added, in other words, the activity is one-sided and clear, but we can't say the sole and primary purpose was specifically intended to help someone or hurt someone else or undermine the process. The reality is all three. Oh. So it wasn't intended to help Trump, it wasn't intended to hurt Hillary, or it wasn't intended to undermine the process? Interesting, isn't that, ladies and gentlemen? Strzok's recently disclosed emails and texts show a final process leading to the assurance of the Russian report was secretly mired in concerns about partisan axes, differences in the intelligence community information, and the subtle but important realization that the primary purpose of Russian meddling really couldn't be determined. Interesting. Are you, my friends who are Democrats and who hate Donald Trump and who believe the Russians helped him because the news media said it and the fake news was out there about it, are you listening to this? Have you been paying attention? I know somebody told you this a long time ago. March, May, I don't know, maybe even as far back as December or before. Somebody with long hair, I know, I heard it. I heard it. Somebody with long hair told you all this. That they couldn't determine what the meddling was about, if it was actually meddling, or if they were trying to just expose the truth. See, that's what we talked about last week here on the John LeBang Show. The information that was put out, regardless of who it came from, the information of Hillary deleting emails, which was confirmed by Comey, trying to hinder the process of finding out what those emails were about because they were bleached, they were gotten rid of, you couldn't find them anymore. And the only reason they found some of them is because Uma over there with, Mr. Anthony Weiner had some of them that they didn't delete on their laptops. And because they were investigating the perv over there, Anthony Weiner, isn't that, he should have, he could have went two ways with that name, really. He could have been a perv, Anthony Weiner, which is what he became, or he could have been a porn star. Are you kidding me? What a great porn star name, right? I'm Anthony Weiner. Who knows, though? Maybe he didn't have a schmeckle big enough to be a porn star. They don't like small schmeckles over there. So he went the route of the pervert. This is what kills me. Apparently, there's little doubt that Russia tried to meddle in the 2016 elections through fake news sources, because that's why Facebook and all these other social media types are trying to limit the amount of fake news that is disseminated on their platforms. Yet we're having day-to-day blasts, more sensationalized claims that Russia and Trump colluded together in an effort to destroy Hillary Clinton and win the presidency. But it's being called into question by evidence that is produced by the FBI and Justice Department themselves. Yet it's not being talked about in the mainstream fake news, that manufactured elite media Those same people who were out there during Hurricane Florence pretending the winds were stronger than what they were in some places. Then we get this slow walking of the truth that's taken months and months and months of congressional hearings just to get any transparency on this. It's been a big malaise of garbage. It's like space junk in space. We got to put a net over this and drag all the garbage out just to get to the truth. I thought these were government agencies, the FBI, the Justice Department. It's not just. This is just us. They only care about them. Why all the roadblocks? Why the slow walking of the truth? The FBI and the Justice Department have a chance to make good, and what do? They keep their mouth quiet. They hide information about President Trump.
I think it's disgraceful.
Having no clear connection because they don't have the evidence of that. But they keep digging. They let Mueller dig. Dig. And everything he's digging up and everybody he's charging and everybody's charging or making plea deals with. There's nothing there with collusion and Russia. They screwed up. They hide money. They do this. They do that. But it wasn't about collusion with Russia. One of the charges was the one guy paid off Stormy Daniels and some other chick to keep their mouth shut about Donald Trump banging them. Seriously. But now that's trying to affect the election. The evidence was there, 33,000 emails. Didn't matter where it came from. WikiLeaks put it out. WikiLeaks put out a bunch of other stuff. The Podesta emails. We found out through what's her name over there? What's her stupid name? I forgot her name. That the freaking Democrats rigged the election against Bernie Sanders. I mean, come on. Where's the collusion on the Trump side? And I don't even care about Trump per se. It's not like I'm trying to defend the guy, but man, can we get to the truth without our own government agencies and our mainstream manufactured fake news blocking the truth? Hiding the truth so it doesn't get out to them. Why do you think they do that, ladies and gentlemen? Are they sore because their chick lost? Are they sore because Hillary Clinton didn't win? And because of that, we know in the text messages between Strzok and Page, they were like, we have another plan. We have another plan. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If Trump wins, we'll work on the inside and get him. And what's happening now? We even had Rosenstein recently suggest that he was going to secretly record Trump, and he's the one who's started to talk about the 25th Amendment, about getting rid of the president that way. We have a coup inside the government, folks. And instead of these traitors, whether you like Trump or not, that's beyond the point. If they can do this to Trump, they can do this to every president in the future. And now every one of our elections, every single one of them, are going to be coming into question. We're never going to know if the results are real because we started all this crap, and most of this was started on the left wing, the gosh damn Democrats who are pulling the same kind of stuff on Kavanaugh. Claims, and we're not allowed to know the truth. They don't want the truth being told. Oh, goodness gracious. That's it for the first hour, folks. Fired up right here at the end. I want to thank you all for joining me. All the new listeners, please go to our website, www.jaylebang.com. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, and for most of you, that's in the next hour, this is John Lebang, signing off from the Banger Studios.
1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station.
Resistance is futile.